Just 25 miles from Glasgow lies a stretch of quiet water that holds Britain's entire nuclear submarine fleet. 11 boats, 4 of them each carrying up to 16 United States-built Trident missiles and enough warheads to destroy dozens of cities. Every person in Britain's nuclear chain, from submarine crews cut off for months at a time to the families waiting in silence, depends on what happens in this single Scottish loch. But almost no one outside knows what daily life, or daily risk, truly looks like here. So how did the UK end up hiding its most dangerous secrets in such a peaceful place? And what happens if Scotland decides it wants them gone? Along the quiet waters of Loch, steep hills and scattered villages frame a scene that feels untouched by conflict. Yet beneath the surface, this stretch of the Scottish Highlands conceals the most concentrated military force in Britain. Only 25 miles separate the base from the centre of Glasgow, a city of more than 500,000 people. Here at Her Majesty's Naval Base, Clyde, better known as Faslane, every one of the Royal Navy's 11 submarines is gathered, including the 4 Vanguard-class boats that carry the United Kingdom's entire nuclear arsenal. The Vanguard-class submarines are immense, each one the length of 1.5 football fields, displacing nearly 16,000 tons when submerged. They slip out into the deep waters of the Loch, able to dive almost immediately after leaving the base. This geography was not chosen by accident. The Loch's depth and the open access to the North Atlantic through the narrow GIUK gap between Greenland, Iceland, and the United Kingdom make it ideal for submarines that must disappear quickly and patrol undetected for months at a time. Since 2020, Faslane has become the single home for the entire British submarine fleet. The Astute-class attack submarines, once scattered across different bases, now share this hidden anchorage with the nuclear-armed vanguards. The shift means that Britain's most advanced underwater firepower is concentrated in one place, just a short drive from Scotland's largest city. For people living nearby, the contrast is impossible to ignore. One local resident describes it simply: "You look out over the water and see the mist, the hills, the odd fishing boat. But you know what's underneath, what could come and go while you sleep." The base's presence is woven into daily life, from the convoys moving quietly along rural roads to the distant sound of naval horns echoing across the Loch. The peaceful scenery masks a reality of immense destructive power and strategic calculation. In this narrow corner of Scotland, the landscape and the fleet have become inseparable, shaping both the security of a nation and the rhythms of local life. Each Vanguard-class submarine slips away from Faslane, carrying up to 16 Trident 2D5 missiles, the most advanced nuclear weapons in the British arsenal. Packed within the hull, as many as 40 warheads ride beneath the surface, enough destructive force to erase entire cities. The United Kingdom's total stockpile stands at around 225 warheads, with most stored just 2 miles away at Culport, hidden inside 16 reinforced bunkers built into the hillside above Loch Long. The warheads themselves are assembled at the Atomic Weapons Establishment in Aldermaston, then transported nearly 400 miles by armed convoy through towns and countryside before reaching the Loch. Britain does not own its missiles outright. Instead, it draws from a shared pool of 58 Trident missiles maintained by the US Navy in Georgia. For the crews who operate these submarines, the reality of the weapons is inescapable. Life on board is ruled by routine and silence. Each patrol lasts for months, with the submarine vanishing into the Atlantic, its exact position known only to a handful of people in the world. Sailors work in shifts, 6 hours on, 6 hours off, rotating through a cycle of watchkeeping, drills, and maintenance. There are no windows, no sunlight, and no real sense of passing days. Contact with the outside world is almost non-existent. Once a week, Each Submariner receives a single message from home, carefully censored and strictly limited to 40 words. One former crew member described the experience as living in a steel tube, where time blurs and the only link to family is a short, cryptic note. He said you lose track of everything except the routine. That 40-word message is your lifeline. You read it over and over. For families back on shore, the silence is just as heavy. A partner of a current Submariner put it simply, you learn to wait. You wonder where they are, if they are safe. But you know you will never really know. Operation Relentless, the unbroken chain of deterrent patrols since 1969, demands this kind of endurance. The submarines and their crews remain hidden, carrying out a mission that is both invisible and relentless, with the psychological cost woven into every patrol. In June 1982, Bobby and Margaret Harrison set up a tent at Faslane gates. That small gesture became the Faslane Peace Camp, a fixture of protest that has endured for over 40 years. At its height, dozens called it home, their banners and caravans a daily reminder of dissent. The movement swelled in 2006 when Faslane 365 drew activists from across Britain and beyond. For a full year, blockades and demonstrations led to 1,150 arrests, among them politicians and public figures. The original Harrison caravan, battered by years of Scottish weather, now sits in Glasgow Museum of Transport, a symbol of lasting resistance. While the camp gave protest a face, the official record reveals a pattern of risk. From 2008 to 2012, Faslane and Coalport logged 262 nuclear safety incidents. Most were minor, but 12 reached Category A or Category B, events with the potential for radioactive release. Since 2023, at least one Category A incident has been confirmed, along with 2 Category B incidents and over 100 lower-level failures. Details are scarce and shielded by national security, but the trend is unmistakable. Safety lapses are not rare. Tritium, a radioactive isotope, has leaked into Loch from Coalport aging pipes for over 15 years. Monitored by the Scottish Environment Protection Agency, these discharges are officially low-level, but campaigners and independent experts question the long-term effects. In 2011, Exercise Bowline, a simulated nuclear emergency, exposed failures in communication and coordination, forcing urgent reforms. As one safety expert put it, you have an aging fleet, a record of hundreds of incidents, and a base just miles from a major city. The margin for error is slim. The Scottish Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament calls it a catastrophe in waiting. Scottish independence has become the defining question for the future of Britain's nuclear deterrent. The Scottish National Party, the Greens, and the Scottish Socialists have all made clear their opposition to nuclear weapons on Scottish soil. During the 2014 independence referendum, the fate of Trident dominated the debate. Party leaders pledged that a sovereign Scotland would require the immediate removal of the submarines and warheads from Faslane and Coalport. Yet the practical obstacles are immense. Defence analysts at the Atlantic Council warn that there is no viable alternative site in England or Wales. The deep water, remote location, and rapid Atlantic access offered by Loch are unmatched elsewhere in the United Kingdom. Even if a replacement could be found, government studies estimate that moving the entire nuclear operation would take at least 4 years, with no guarantee of success. The Ministry of Defence has responded with a clear message. The deterrent is not just a matter of strategy, but of national commitment. In 2016, Parliament voted overwhelmingly, 472 to 117, to approve the new Dreadnought-class submarines, with a budget of £31 billion and a £10 billion contingency fund. These new boats are already under construction and are set to enter service in the early 2030s. In July 2025, the government announced a further £250 million investment in the Clyde 2070 plan, locking in decades of infrastructure upgrades and long-term contracts. The economic stakes are just as high. Faslane is Scotland's largest single-site employer, supporting 6,500 jobs across the region. For local communities, the base is both a source of pride and a point of tension. The promise of continued investment ties thousands of livelihoods to the future of Britain's nuclear fleet. As the debate over independence intensifies, the question is no longer just about weapons or strategy. It is about sovereignty, economic security, and the power to decide Britain's place in the world. For decades, Britain's nuclear arsenal has depended on a single Scottish Loch, just 25 miles from 635,000 people. As Scotland debates its future, the fate of the UK's nuclear weapons hangs in the balance. One vote could decide whether this hidden arsenal endures or disappears forever. What's your view?